I'm going to give it over to Andrea Mitchell, who was asking you a question about the uncommitted vote.
Yeah, I'm just really curious as to whether you feel that they will not accept the argument from the Harris supporters and surrogates who are saying you may not like the policy of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris on Israel and Gaza, but believe us, it will be that much worse by voting for Donald Trump or staying home and letting him win because he's been calling Netanyahu and encouraging him to do more.
I have to tell you, Andrea, we've been having some really good conversations in the Arab American community. We've had some terrific folks step up and endorse Vice President Harris from that community. And what I'm hearing from folks is that they recognize the fundamental threat to their community and to their friends, neighbors, and colleagues all over the country and all over the world. That is Donald Trump. And what they believe is that in order to stop Donald Trump, they need to vote for Kamala Harris, whether they want to right now, frankly, or not. They understand that they have got an opportunity here with Vice President Harris for more conversations, more open conversations, and they feel like they've been having with the Biden administration. They're looking forward to those conversations moving forward with a White House that is led by Kamala Harris. And I think that we're going to see good numbers out of the Arab American community for Kamala Harris. We never were going to get all of these votes. Some of these folks were very conservative already, and we're going to vote for Republicans or others already. And others of these folks will not be supporting us, but most of them will, and the numbers will be strong. I feel good about that.
Let me talk to you about what we saw in 2020, and this was a lot of Trump supporters coming out and claiming fraud. There are a lot of Trump supporters who still believe there was fraud in Michigan. What is the state doing in order to get the vote count out early, the results in early, to combat any, malfeasance or any misinformation that might be put out there in a vacuum?
Our elections are run by terrific professionals all over the state. They are not all Democrats. They are not all Republicans, but they are all people who believe in democracy and believe in protecting the vote. They're doing a terrific job of preparing themselves for the onslaught of voters and the number of folks who are participating. This new process we're doing now with early vote is going very well. Folks are doing their jobs. Volunteers have stepped up despite how scary it can be to participate in something that folks have threatened the process before, and but they are stepping up to make sure that they can protect these votes and count these votes. We now have new rules here in Michigan that allow clerks to begin to process these votes earlier, which means we expect that we will have results faster than we did 4 years ago. But folks should still be patient and wait for them to do their work. Taking time does not mean it's going wrong, that anyone's doing anything incorrectly. It just means that they're getting it right and they're working through this process. I have complete confidence in our election professionals, complete confidence in my Secretary of State and our clerks all over the state. These elections will be fair and clean.
LaVora, what are the next 4 days going to tell you? And I'm particularly interested in what we heard just then from Brian Schimming, who says in his state there are hundreds of thousands of low propensity voters. Pete Hoekstra, who's your counterpart there, says there are hundreds of thousands in your state. Is the number that high? How difficult is it to target them? And what will you be watching, as I said, over the next 4 days to give you an indication if that small sliver is actually going to come out and vote?
There are many, many low propensity voters in this state. They are not all Republican leaning. Some of them are Democratic leaning. And part of the work we do is to get to those folks over and over again, as many times as we need to convince them to participate in this election. That's why our ground game works, because we are on the doors and on the phones, not just in these days leading up to the election, but we've been there all along. Since 2017, this state party has been running an aggressive field program all over the state. And that's what makes the difference in these elections. That's what brings on the successes we've had in 2018, in 2020, in 2022, and it will be the reason we are successful in 2024. These face-to-face, person-to-person conversations we're having is how you move voters. It's not when you stand in Madison Square Garden and spew hate. That's not how you move low-propensity voters. You move them by having conversations with them. You move them by having them meet their neighbor and have their neighbor tell the story of why that neighbor is voting for Democrats and what Democrats have done to make their lives better. And those are the conversations we've been having and will be having for the next 4 days.
LaVora Barnes, chair of the Michigan Democratic Party, thank you very much for joining us. I'm glad we were able to get you reestablished.